That was really loud. What's up, Fellow Drops fans? Haley here from Fellow. Without Brian. Brian's been working super hard on these videos and we're gonna give him a week off. But I am here by myself today at our storefront and playground, the pink room inside of our storefront and playground, to bring you a super cool international drop that we're super stoked about. We've got Nomad's Burundi Yandaro. It's a washed Burundi. I also love that they abbreviate the name of, yeah, I love that they abbreviate. It's really cool, but we are super stoked about this washed coffee. It is stone fruit, it's honey sweetness, it's like yellow nectarine, some apricots, just a breath of summer, and a breath of summer is coming, and we couldn't be happier to bring it to you. Super cool. Nomad actually started nomadically as a coffee cart in London in 2011, and then the person behind the curtain, Jordi Mestre, went on to win Spain's National Barista Championship 2012 and 2013. And then they opened their first brick and mortar in Spain, in Barcelona, Spain in 2014. So that's where this coffee is coming to us from, all the way from Barcelona, Spain, across the Atlantic Ocean. We're super stoked that it's here with us, and we're gonna get brewing. Today I'm gonna brew 22 grams in to 320 out, going for a direct 16:1 ratio. I ground with my Ode plus SSPs set to 3 2/3. Again, we calibrate our Odes with SSPs, 5 clicks off chirp here as a standard. With standard Ode, you'd probably do somewhere in the 2 2/3 range, about a whole step down. Really just a medium fine setting, right, on any grinder, but definitely medium fine. I'm brewing at 205 degrees, as this isn't a particularly super light roast, so we don't want to go too crazy with the temperature. And yeah, that's, I think those are about all the specs. Let's get brewing, because I really want to drink this coffee. So, as always, I'm pre-wetting and pre-warming as I pre-wet my filter, so sucking out that papery taste. I don't want it to get into this delicious coffee, and I also want my vessels to be warmed up. Waited for you guys to get here before I did that so I could reiterate, because if you hear me say it once, you'll hear me say it 1,000 times, and that's just, it's always good in brewing coffee to build good habits and to keep your routine consistent, right? Okay, so now dumping out pre-warm water. I promise I have a bucket down there that you can't see behind the curtain, right? I'm not just dumping water onto the floor, although that would be kind of funny. I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, so we're gonna put our funnel, our super helpful Stag X funnel, into the middle of the dripper, toss our 20 grams of coffee in, put the dosing cup to the side, flatten out our bed of grounds, because we don't want to be pouring into uneven bed of grounds, right? There are going to be some super like minimal areas, and you're going to be pulling a ton of flavor out of the other areas, making for uneven extraction. So you don't want to do that. Flatten out your bed of grounds before you get started. And let's get started. So since I have 20 grams in, makes it easy. I'm going to go to about 40 grams, just about double the amount of water as coffee I put in. I'm at 41.4, I'll take it, it's not a huge deal at all. And I'm probably gonna let this coffee bloom. I've been letting it bloom to about 32, 33 seconds, a little bit of a shorter bloom, because again, it's not a particularly, it's towards the medium roast end of the spectrum, not super medium, not true medium, but definitely not super light either. So I'm breaking right after 32, 33-ish seconds. And I'm going up to 120, just about, because again, I'm going to 320 grams, not 350 like I usually do. I got to 123.8. Again, not the end of the world. You want to get to as close as that mark as possible. You're 120, 220, and then I'm going to end at 320 in my 4-stage pour. And with Stag X, again, super cool. It's going to maintain its temperature because of the double-walled insulated stainless steel. And And with Stag EKG, of course, I'm keeping my temperature right at 205 with my hold feature, which will keep my kettle warm for up to an hour. So before the bed of grounds dries, you want to go ahead and hit with water again so you're not over agitating by pouring into a dry bed of grounds, right? You're not jostling too much. You don't want to extract too much at one time. Sweet. So now we're at 220 grams, and then the last pour, the fourth pour in the stages, I'm going to hit 320 grams. And we're still at 205 degrees thanks to the trusty Stag EKG. And yeah, super stoked to drink this coffee. Again, we're super excited to feature Nomad. This is the first time we've actually ever partnered with them for fellow drops. And we hope that you're as stoked as we are on this stuff. All right, last pour, just before the bed of grounds dries, you're going to want to even concentric circles out to in and into out. Whichever direction you want to start in is totally fine as long as you go in constant motion. Do not ever stop, or that can prove for uneven extraction. And that's your last pour. You're at 320 grams. And now we wait. I'm going to pre-warm my vessel so that my coffee is undergoing no rapid temperature changes that are unintended, taking on no potentially adverse flavor effects. Going to transfer the heat to my Big Joe double-walled insulated handmade ceramic cup too, actually. And after that's done, we're going to go ahead and pour just a little bit in. I'm not going to pour all the way because I want to let it cool down, get an accurate representation, taste it at varying stages of hotness. And then after I'm done tasting, I am going to pour the rest into this cup and probably drink it very quickly. All right, let's get tasting. Cheers, guys, and cheers, Brian, wherever you are out there. Hope you're relaxing. Actually, in my Okay, I took a sip for the sake of the cheers, but I'm actually going to let that cool down just a little bit, just a tad bit. But while it is cooling down, on the nose, I do get a lot of like that, like definitely dried apricot, definitely just dried fruit in general, like that kind of dried fruit where it's like that round sweetness, that apricot, that like stone fruit sweetness, just like dried and cured to be like that kind of sugarcane, but natural sugarcane sweet right on that nose. And it's super nuanced too. So it's not like extremely aromatic, but it definitely permeates the air enough to like notice all of those specific aromatic notes. And let me give it one more swirl, and I think it's actually cooled down enough for me to, I don't know, taste stuff. Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so just general stone fruit. Like there's not one that specifically jumps out to me, and maybe it's because I'm super partial to yellow nectarines. Hopefully not, but definitely yellow nectarine jumps out at me, like a nice ripe one. But then just stone fruit in general, it's like you got kind of a medley of them, and they're all sort of existing in the same just general bucket of flavor at one time, and it's, oh gosh, it's just delicious. Definitely the honey sweetness at the end, but like a very fresh honey sweetness, not floral honey by any means, but like a more prominent honey taste, like specifically just straight up honey, not floral, not any like specific kind, just like classic. And definitely just straight up apricots. And also it's also the back end sweetness of like that honey sweetness is the only thing that lingers. So it's like the stone fruit, it's got this nice blossoming mouthfeel, not super round, but just blooms in the middle. And at the end, the stone fruit kind of like fades away super, super quickly and super nicely. And then the honey is all that you're left with, like in the retronasal and also just coating your mouth. And it's just this, this overall sweetness that I feel like I could sit in like a park and hang out in the grass and sip this all day and be totally content watching the sunset, still drinking coffee. Like, doesn't matter what time of night it is. Or I could be watching the sunrise, which realistically is the more logical thing to do with coffee, but some people drink coffee later than others, and who am I to judge? I'm one of them. So drink this coffee at any time of day. It's super delicious. We hope you like it. Thank you so much, Nomad, for partnering with us. As always, you guys, it is super easy to order from Fellow Drops. All you have to do is text us back. Text us back the number of bags that you would like, or just, send us some love or some feedback. We love hearing from you. We do read the texts. Also, if you have any suggestions for brew guides, we'd love to know in the comments section. We do read the comments. It warms our hearts to see them and to see suggestions, and we love taking them into account into our future brew guide videos. Thanks for hanging out with me on my solo brew guide, and we'll see you next week with a whole nother drop. Thanks, guys.